Hello YouTube, welcome back. I'm getting ready to get started on my next little project that I picked up. This is a Course Hines beacon light. Right here it says it's a type FCB12. Does have the little thing on the side, but it's not really readable at this time. I'm gonna have to do some cleaning on it. I found this on the marketplace, and when I first saw the picture, I saw that it had green lenses, and I thought, well, that's really cool. You don't really see green very often, mainly because they're kind of used for like the marine industry. So I kind of saw and think, well, maybe it was like a navigation beacon light next to maybe like a bridge, like the pillars, or like a support column or something like that. And it was used for like the marine use, and you don't see something like that come across very often. So I went ahead and got a hold of the guy and said, out, I'm going to come out and get it. So I drove out there to look at it. When I got out there, I noticed it looked a little weird. So I was talking to him, and he told me that he actually painted it green. It wasn't originally green. You see, it was just clear lenses. So not the end of the world, but the other downside is you can see it's also missing all the original hardware that was on the light originally. It just has a little 110 light in there just to use as like a yard ornament, which is not a big deal. Overall, the light is not in terrible shape, but it's also not in the greatest condition. There is one crack and a chip in the lens. Obviously, it's missing all the hardware. So what my game plan is, what I want to do is I want to take it and kind of do the same thing he did. I want to go ahead and I'm going to disassemble the whole thing the best I can, hopefully not break nothing. I'm going to get all the old green paint off there. And I want to try to find a really good translucent green candy, kind of paint. And I want to redo the lenses because I want to keep it green. I think it's kind of cool, with it being green. I'll put it up next to the red one that I have. But I have a couple different ways I want to do it. Either one way is I'm going to paint the lenses green, so this way I have an actual, full green like you see it as now. Or I'll get it all cleaned up and make it all clear. And maybe I'll make some green filters or use green LEDs. So this way it'll kind of match my red one that I have. So this way I have the clear lenses with the green filters inside. And I'll have the red one with the red filters inside. So almost ties the two together. They're not the same manufacturer, but overall when you put them side by side, I mean, they kind of have the same appearance. So, but the biggest thing is obviously trying to get this thing cleaned up. I don't know really what this black stuff is on here, but it doesn't seem to wipe off. So I don't really know what that is. So I'm sure I'm gonna, fight getting that off, but I guess the first step is let's go ahead and start disassembling this thing, start getting it cleaned up, see what I have to work with, and then go from there. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to set my clutch on my drill, so this way I'm not like hammering on it real hard, and hopefully be able to walk those right out. All right, we got it all disassembled. I gotta say that actually came apart really easy. The first three bolts were a little stubborn because you see how rusted, the rods are. But I just walked the drill back and forth slowly with my clutch set, and I was able to get those to come right off without anything breaking or snapping. I was a little sketchy about the part where I was taking the lens off here because of the the caulking that's on there. I didn't want to let go, but it finally let go. So that actually worked out pretty good. So the next step is going to be I'm going to probably sandblast, or if anything, pressure wash all these pieces. I'll probably repaint them with just a gray, or I might just try to clean them really, really good to where I can just leave them natural. And then after that, like I said, I got to get in here and try to clean these lenses up. You can see this is the worst one. You see there's a nice crack that goes all the way through, and then a big old chip on there. So I got to be very careful with this one. I might put some epoxy on it or something, maybe some clear epoxy, put it up on end, and just let it dry so it gives it a little bit of strength there. And I'll just make sure that's on the back side of the uh, unit, so when I put it up on the shelf, you don't see that. So next step is start cleaning it. All right, got everything all pressure washed, got everything kind of cleaned up. I don't really know what that black stuff was, but once it started getting wet from the pressure washer, it seemed to soften up and came right off. So you can see everything got cleaned pretty good, except for this red paint right here, which I'll see if I can get some stripper for that. This is like a red RVT silicone, but I got to put new foam tape on this, so I'm not too worried about that. But you see everything come up pretty clean, which is nice. I also pressure washed the lenses from a distance to try to make sure I didn't do any damage to them. Same thing, that black stuff came right off, nice and nice and clean on the outside. The problem I'm having is the guy I got this from did automotive airbrushing. Now I'm thinking this is actually an automotive like candy, green paint that they use, when they're kind of going over top of another color to kind of give it like that, different, tone or shade with a candy color. The reason I say that is because of the way the sheen looks right here. It looks like it might have been, like a candy paint, automotive paint, because that pressure washer didn't even do anything to it. You can see I'm scratching with my finger, and it's not hurting it at all. So I'm going to go to a local automotive paint supply company, see if they have a heavy duty stripper to see if I can get it to soften up and then hit with a pressure washer again. If not, I can use the razor blade on these three. But I'm not really going to be able to use the razor blade on this one too well. It's going to be my problem child. The reason why is because you got all the ribs on the inside. It's not smooth like these right here where they're nice and smooth. You got these ribs. So I'd have to get every single rib, the top, side, the whole 9 yards. So this way you don't see the green coming through. And the reason I want to do that is because I made my decision. I'm going to go clear lenses with a green filter inside. And I'm going to show you essentially what I'm going for. I'm essentially going for this right here, where this one right here has the, all the clear lenses on the outside and red filters on the inside. And since I got to make my own bulb holders, I'm just going to use LED house bulbs. So I picked this up a couple years back. It's a green film. So essentially what I'm going to do is I'm essentially going to create two green round filters that'll go around the bulbs to kind of give me that same look. So when I put the two side by side, you have a nice clear lens with the red filters, clear lens with the green filters. So the next step is just to get some automotive paint stripper, so I can see if I can get those cleaned off, reassemble, get the bulb thing built, and this one shouldn't take much longer to do. All right, so I got started. I just went to Home Depot and just picked up some regular paint stripper to try first. This is what I picked up right here. And I started on this lens first. I figured this would be the lens that would say like it generates any haziness or something like that. This one's not as seen well as these are. You can see it cleaned it really good. I scrubbed it with a paintbrush really good inside there, and then hit it with the pressure washer to knock it out. Still a little wet at the moment, but what I'm going to do is if it generates any kind of haziness that's really bad, I'll probably use a clear coat spray and do clear coat on the inside. So this way it'll kind of give it a much more transparent look to it. And then I'll do my filter. So I'm going to go ahead and get the other three clean now. All right, so I got the green paint off all of them. There's a little bit of green paint that I'm not going to be able to get off, and that's because it's in like this rough area where it's going to be really hard to get off. But it really won't be too bad. Right now I'm in the process of trying to get the last little bit of haziness out. These I've already done. I might do a little bit more on them. But you see definitely the haziness that's on there. So essentially what I'm doing to eliminate that is I'm just using just a regular can of, just some glass cleaner that's in an aerosol can. I'm using one of the electric drill and one of those little brushes you see for like say like cleaning wheels and rims and stuff like that. And I'm just coating this thing really good with glass cleaner. I'm just going around it multiple times and then I'm looking through it to see when the haziness seems to be going away, and then I'm going on the outside as well. Just kind of want to show what I'm doing to get these things clean. All right, I think I got these about as clean as they're going to go. You can see I was using that one wheel. The reason I was kind of using that is one, it made it a lot easier. Two, it was kind of like almost like using a wire wheel, just not as aggressive as an actual wire wheel would have been on the glass. So it definitely was able to get in here, clean that. Plus, I was able to get into all the little nooks and crannies, because it is kind of, has all the little strings on it. So it got into all the little grooves really good, which was really nice. After I got done doing that, I finished them off with this polishing compound right here. It's a swirl remover with a foam applicator. And what I did is I just went on the inside and kind of did the same thing, just went back and forth and just kind of polished the whole inside out, and then kind of polished out the big sections. I didn't want to get inside here because it'd be hard to get the polish back out of them. So I just polished obviously like the big sections like here, and stuff like that. But I got to say, definitely came out really nice. You can see there's next to no hazing on here. I mean, you see how clear these things have turned out. So I'm pretty happy with how they turned out. The next step is going to be to start assembling them and then make my light sockets. Now what I'll be doing for the light sockets is I picked these up right here. They're just a couple little lamp sockets that you can buy from a hardware store. You can see I have this. I made sure I got one that has like this little screw-on piece right here. I'll explain the importance of that in just a second. And you see the wires just go onto those right there, so I don't have to necessarily run the wires through the portion that say like if you're actually making a lamp or something out of this. Pick these up right here. It's a 2-pack. Obviously these have the thing for it's hollow, but I don't really need that aspect, but that's just the way they come. But I have 2 of these to work with, and then a bunch of like nuts and some spacers and stuff like that. What the game plan here is I'm going to screw this into the bottom of there, and I'm going to make a holder on the bottom and the top that's going to kind of come up, over, and down with a hole in the center of it. And what it'll do is this is going to allow me to essentially take the bulb, put the bulb in there, and actually move it up and down like this until it perfectly lines up with the part of the lens that it needs to line up with to have the best effect. And then once I got that, then I'll just tighten all the nuts down nice and tight and then just cut off the excess. That's going to be the best way to make it to where I can line it all up. That's actually how I did my lighthouse too, to make sure it lined up properly with the lens. For the green filters, this is what I'm going to be using. I picked these up. I don't really know what they are. I don't know if they're like supposed to be a vase, a giant cup, whatever you want to call it. But my game plan is I'm going to cut a hole in the back here, so this way the light bulb can go through it. I'm going to take the green film, wrap the green film around it. I was trying to find something like this that was already green, but I wasn't able to, so I will wrap the green film around it. And essentially what that's going to do is that's going to make my my green filters. And since I'm going to run LED lights in this, I'm not worried about the plastic. The LEDs are not going to melt this plastic. Now, if I was going to use like a 100-watt incandescent bulb, this would not be recommended. All it's going to do is warp these and melt them. But using LED bulbs is not going to hurt them one bit, so that's why I'm using these. And I'll be able to put some, drill some holes, maybe put some Mel brackets on there so I can lock them into position so this way they stay fixed. So the next step is going to be, once I get the unit put back together, I will start figuring these parts out and get this thing finished up. All right, I'm just going to kind of show what I'm talking about with the whole adjustment aspect of this of the rod. Now, since this has this little bit of a lip here, I have about 1/4 inch play. I'm gonna, instead of building a little thing inside, I just drilled the hole all the way to the bottom. Once I tighten the nut, right where I have it, then I can cut the excess off. It'll still sit flat on the ground. But I'm gonna turn it on and show you what I was talking about. So right now you can see where I have it set in here, and if I move this up and down, you see where it kind of hits this lens differently. Now right here, I measured from my bench up to the center of this, because this is essentially my center point. I'm at 9.5. I made a mark right here at 9.5. So when you look, if I move this up and down, you can see where the light is going like that. So obviously, for me to project it as horizontal as possible, it's probably going to be right about there, and that should give me the most parallel, projection of the light and catch all these things nice and evenly. So I'm going to go ahead and get that where I want it, tighten it up, cut that excess off, so this way I can move it over here where I feel safer with it. I have it screwed down. I want to move over here, and then I'll start figuring out how I'm going to do the top one as far as the hanger for that, and then I'll start working on the lenses, or the filters, I mean. I got the light socket mounted on the other side. I mounted it to the lid like the original one would have been. I just took and made a little bracket that I was able to screw into the original screws right there. See, I got my adjustment right here. So when this goes down the side, that puts the light bulb, right where it needs to be. And then the next step is going to be to, after I get everything done, I'll zip tie the wires nice and neatly down one of the support rods. And then I'm going to go ahead and make the filters first before I marry the two back together. But it's moving right along. All right, so I got one of the filters in there. You kind of see it right there. Go ahead and turn it on real fast. So I have a little bit of white kind of showing at the top, so I might try to put something up there just to kind of get rid of that. But I'm not really sure. I mean, it's going to be way up in the air, so you're not really going to see that anyways. But essentially how I'm making that is those little cups I was talking about. So I kind of just have it in here, and I took just some little pieces of aluminum, bent them to like an angle piece right here, and I had them screwed in through here. These are holes that were already there. Just have a couple little small screws holding it into there. And then this right here, this film is actually adhesive. So it's almost like a window tint. So once I peel the backing off of it, it actually sticks right to it. And it's just going to suspend inside there. And that's what's going to create the next one. So I'm going to go ahead and start putting the wrap on that one, and then set it on top of each other and see what it looks like. Okay, got the two halves put together. You'll notice that when I was doing this one right here, I left the plastic extra long and kind of taped it to the top here. That was because when I was kind of showing you top, and you can see like the excess light coming through. I don't want that same problem, so I left this one a little bit longer. I'm also experimenting with using colored party lights, like LED green lights. So this way, even if I do get any bleed out, you're not going to notice it. But even though I'm using green lights, I still want the filters because I kind of want that particular look that I'm going for, so it matches the red one that I have. But I'm gonna go ahead and close the lid. I got the bulbs in there. I got the flasher hooked up, and let's see what the finished product look like. All right, you ready to see the final product all lit up? Here we go. I gotta say, I'm actually pretty happy with it. I definitely had my concerns that I wasn't gonna be able to get that thing as clean as I did. I'm actually very impressed at how well everything cleaned up, considering what it looked like with all that black stuff all over it, the green paint that was on it. I mean, there's definitely some elbow grease involved in it, but it was definitely well worth it. Definitely came out way better than I was anticipating. Definitely like the green. Definitely is different. Gives me a variety of lights within my collection. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you think. Tell me if you think sticking with the green was a good decision, or if I should have converted back to the red that it might have been originally. But I gotta say, I like the green, and it's gonna be nice having it next to my other one that's pretty much just like it, just in red. But if you like this video, hit that like button. As always, thanks for watching.